It's now time for the long overdue, slightly less anticipated review for Assassin's Creed 2.2. I mean Revelations. Much to no one's surprise, the Assassin's franchise has elected to go the route of milking profitable characters for everything they're worth. That being said, Revelations was expected to deliver some game-changing new features, as well as everything we loved about the first 3 games. Namely, the last 2, and it did that. By that, I mean the latter. Assassin's Creed 2, god dang it, I did it again. Revelations, everybody, Revelations. We on the same page? AC Revelations is about Desmond Miles reliving the memories of his ancestors, which have been stored in his DNA, although this time it's to help him get out of a coma. Spoiler alert, Desmond's in a coma. For the 3rd time in a row, Ezio has the answers to all of Desmond's most relevant problems, but we'll talk about Ezio in a second. Desmond wakes up on an Inception-esque Animus Island where he meets the infamous Subject 16.
Just walk right
and is presented with the gateways that will lead him through Ezio's memories, as well as some troubling memories from his past. You only get to play through Desmond's missions after you find a certain number of these hidden data fragments in Ezio's campaign. In them, you embody Desmond Miles' consciousness as he embodies his subconsciousness and travels through some creepy It's kooky, but I guess it's good to know that you can always fall back on a different style of gameplay whenever you want to. In Desmond's missions, you hear some audio from some key memories from his past, as well as personal narration that help paint a better picture of who he is and what the early life of an assassin is like. I must say that a lot of what I was hearing made the assassins out to be a lot more of a cult than I had imagined.
They never told me much. Just enough. If anyone ever knew who we were or what we were doing, there'd be trouble.
They're everywhere, Desmond. They have their hands in everything. Politics, war, finance, high-tech, agriculture.
Up until now, I thought that a group of grown men who wore long white robes and performed scary rituals while chanting age-old creeds was their version of the Rebel Alliance. It isn't.
Just walk right past me.
16?
Now, I mentioned Subject 16 earlier, and this guy has been more mysterious than the guy who played the son in Psycho, and his story is equally creepy.
I feel fine. So did I. Hey! Look at me now! Let's talk, buddy.
So I was expecting huge in-game revelation about his relationship and importance to the story as a whole. That's not what I got. Here's what happened. Ubisoft waited until February of this year to release new DLC that not only explains 16's purpose, and spoiler alert, he has a freaking important purpose. Actually, mute your TVs for like 10 seconds here. His purpose is he about why she kind of that thing. Okay, turn your TVs back on. TVs back on. Cool. And releasing this 4 months after the initial release date is mind-boggling. The fact that the only way I could find out about this chapter existed was by doing internet research, and that is just really unreliable. While it's easy to criticize, I do want to commend Ubisoft for being so economical with their use of location. 16th century Constantinople wasn't the worst place to put Ezio for the final leg of his journey, but it does seem to be the last viable option. Quick history lesson for you. Constantinople was founded in the 4th century as the new capital of the Roman Empire. Sound a little familiar to you? Granted that by Ezio's time, the Ottoman era had been long underway, and the government is now ruled by the Sultanate, just like in Aladdin. And then yada yada, some political bullcrap, and more yada, expansion and peace and yada. Look, Ezio's barely involved with the political crap as it is, and he's still taking petty contracts to assassinate anybody that his friends ask him. Like I said before, Ezio is only in Turkey land because you can do all the same stuff he did before, which is recruit, kill, and run. But I guess he's also looking for some keys? Kills some helpless guards, meets a girl, explores some caves, and blows up an underground city. Pretty much the same stuff you've been doing the whole time. But now that Ezio's getting ready to do some Dos Equis commercials, they're going to have to compensate. And in order to compensate, they give you this cool new hook blade to make up for the extra 1 foot of ground that you won't be able to cover in your old age. Woo! It turns out that the assassins were suspiciously good at crafting bombs. Cherry bombs, stink bombs, datura bombs, and over 150 other combinations. In all honesty, it's really hard, and it does end up becoming more of a hassle than another weapon in your arsenal. Other additions include a tower-based mini-defense game that doesn't completely suck, but it is unjustifiably difficult. Then there's multiplayer, which I'm not going to talk about at all. Time for the scores. Story, it gets a 6. It certainly wasn't bad, and the fact that it intertwines so many historical elements with an adventurous storyline demonstrates Ubisoft's ability to keep their template fresh. Design, I'm going to do to my score what they did to their environment elements and copy and paste my 6 from before and put it here as well. You get a 6 also. Gameplay. Combat and free running are still there, but they've only been slowed to remind you that Ezio is the Brett Favre of the Assassins, and he's only hanging on for dear life. It gets a 6 for the amount of inches your stupid blade is actually going to help you overcome. Again, worthless. Presentation gets a 7. Although I haven't played the game in 3D, I still think it's a spectacle, and it would have been a lot more impressive had I not already seen Rome in HD. Replay value gets another 7. Since this area is made with the intention of reliving your favorite moments in the game, it's pretty hard to mess up. It was a great attempt at drawing out a lovable character for as long as humanly possible. That being said, the title itself brings the conclusion of one of video games' sexiest characters to an end, gets a 6.4.